Hi, welcome back to Forensics. Today we're going to be doing log parsing or data analysis, and it should be a lot of fun. Okay, the first thing we're going to need to do is log in to our remote host. Now the directions are in the YouTube description below, so if you need any help doing this, if you have any problem watching the video, then go ahead and look in the directions and it will walk you through how to log into Cybernados and then Remote 04. Now this works from Linux, macOS 10, and Windows 10. If you have a different operating system, please use PuTTY, P-U-T-T-Y, download PuTTY, and then SSH using PuTTY. Let's get started. So first, I'm going to type SSH remote04.cybernados.net. And I made a mistake. I should type student at remote04.cybernados.net. Press enter. It says, hey, are you sure? I'm going to say yes. All right. Now I've logged into Remote 04 and it shows my last login. It shows that where I am. Now I'm going to go ahead and make my user directory. So I'm going to make a directory, Lab Forensics. So it's going to be in Lab Forensics, and I'm just going to make it jdoe. Now that I've created jdoe, I'm going to cd over to jdoe. Now that I'm in this directory, I'm going to look at the contents. Nothing's there. Totally right. We just created the directory. Everything's going so far, so good. Now let's copy our log files into our directory so that we can start processing them. Now keep in mind, the directions are in the YouTube description. So if you need any further help, all of the commands I'm using are going to be in YouTube, except for those commands that YouTube filters. So all of these commands are currently there. So right now, wget ftp, the site I want to download log, and we're going to download this log. Now, keep in mind, these are live logs. So this is a live site. It is currently in use on the internet. There's no telling what is actually in there, so watch out for that. Let's go ahead. We got one now, CYB DNS01. Let's go ahead and get the next one. And that's going to be our UTM log. All right, great. We've got both of our log files now. Now, if you're following through on this at home and you want to use your own PC for this, I'm going to go ahead and throw these log files up at another site so that you can download the log files as they are right now, and you can do it at home. So if you do want to do this at home and you don't want to go through all the authentication to get into our network and then download our log files, you can use these log files at your own computer using Linux commands. All right, so let's go on. Right here, we've got our Lab Forensics jdoe LL, and we have one log file there, and the next one I put in the wrong name, and so it did not find it, cybutm01.log. And that's one of the reasons I hit LL after I do this, when I should be paying attention to the output. That is not supposed to be CYB-UTM01. That's supposed to be GC, so GC-UTM01. So I'll go ahead and there we go. Now, let's look at that, LL, which LL is alias. So if you look at LL, you've got an alias there that is giving us ls-lh. That's long listing, human readable format, in color, and grouping directories first. So there we go. We've got our two files. They're not too big. They're only 45 meg and 70 meg. We're going to start with DNS, and we're going to dig into DNS using some Unix utilities to try to find out what's been going on. So let's get started. So first, we're going to go ahead and we can cat the file, CYB DNS01, and press enter. Now, if we do that, you'll see there are a lot of lines, millions of lines of text, possibly hundreds of thousands at least. It's just not going to be that helpful. Let's find out how many lines we're dealing with. So let's do a WC-L CYB DNS01. We're looking at 276,000 lines of text. It's a little much to process by hand. So we're going to go through and use our Unix utilities to process this information for us. So head CYB DNS01 log, enter, will only give us 10 lines. This is going to let us start our analysis. Now when we start our analysis, we can kind of look at what we had up here and get an idea of what we're looking for. Remember, we're forensics analysts in this case. Well, at this point, we're not working for law enforcement. We've been given some files, and we don't know what their purpose is. And given those files, not knowing what their purpose is, we need to dig into it and see, why is this important? Why did this agent or why did this individual give us these log files? Or why were these log files on the system? What do these log files have to show us? This is investigation. So we need to go through and find out what's going on the system. If you walk into a forensics environment for law enforcement, then you're going to be looking for specific aspects. You'll be looking for, well, in this case, you'll be looking for if a specific site was visited. In our case, what sites were visited? We don't know. Let's find out. So through here, we've got some SMTP connections. See what else we have. In fact, that's interesting that we got that in there. So on our head, we've got these LAN would block that. See what else we got. I'm going to do a head, and let's do a -20. It's going to give us 20 lines. All right, got some warnings there. We have some rsync things going on. So as we look through this, I want you to try to look through this with me and figure out where you might have something that is of interest. And this is the actual process. So we have some query errors. Query failed, refused. Let's find out who's getting refused and what kind of errors we're having. So let's take this file, cat, the CYB DNS01, and we're going to grep for case insensitive error. Okay. See, there are a lot of errors in there. They might be broken down into two different styles. So in this, let's go ahead and instead of grepping, that's looking for the error, we're going to go ahead and grep case insensitive, voiding out our response, query errors. And if you notice, I'm just double clicking the words there and then middle clicking or two finger clicking with my mouse, which allows me to paste a lot faster. So if I take that out, I can look over here and see what other kind of errors we're getting. We're getting these zones. Zones. 0 there. We got some warnings. Some notices. All right, two things that we're going to look at. We'll look at DNS format errors in this session, and we'll look at query errors in this session. So let's do that. So over here, we're going to look for a query error. We've got those. We can put errors if we want to. And we're also going to go pull up the DNS format errors. Put that in quote. So we can grab those. Those should give us a short enough bit of data to work with right now, and it gives you the idea of how we actually process this. So let's start with the query errors. If you notice, I'm flipping up and down here while we go through this. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of refused. We have some other things going on. Query errors. Information that I want right now is I'm not really interested in the date at this point. Let's see where it starts. We have a client information here. I would like to start pulling out information from the client side there. If we triple click a line, you can see all the information that's involved in that line. Now there is a trick with that, and the trick is to click that line and then paste it into something like X editor. Here, I'll throw that up in the corner. If you paste it in like this, and then we're going to go through and we're going to look for everything. I'll replace every time we have a space. I hit Control H to replace. You put a new line in there. Now this is just a trick. You don't have to do it. And what this does is it's going to tell us what every column is. Now we can see query errors are number 8, 9. Now I'm not going to use that right now because I don't want to close without saving yes. I don't want to bring out anything that can't be used in a terminal. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this file, and we're going to count over to see where information's held. Well, I know I want to start with query errors, and I want to start with client. So let's go ahead and take that right there, and I'm going to say awk. My field delimiter is now client, and I want to print everything that comes after client. Okay. So this is the information that's coming after the word client. You know what I think is going to be interesting is seeing who is failing and who's trying to query our systems. Let's start with serve fail. All right. So I do serve fail. We have a lot of information that comes up. We're starting to see what addresses might be coming through. Let's go ahead and pull those addresses out. Now, when you see an address like this in ADRA ARPA, then it's backwards. So as we see those in ADRA ARPA addresses, those are backwards, but it'd be fun to pull out. And in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And we're going to look at the 1, 2, 3 in right there. So serve fail. After that, I'm going to do another pipe. F. Nope, don't need a field delimiter. In this case, it's just going to be a third line in. Print third column in. So there we go. So we got our third column in. Now I want to find out how many of these are... Let's see what's going on there. Okay, now let's find out how many of these are occurring per each. So I'm going to do a sort, unique-c, and a sort-n. Okay, so now we've got all of our little daily things here. I'm going to get rid of all those dailies. Anything that's clam AV, I'm going to remove that. That's just, it's annoying. So let's get rid of all of those. We can get rid of those at the very beginning. So I'm going to go to the very beginning of my line, type grep-v, and I'm going to type init clam AV. I'm going to get rid of that. Now, if you were going through the log file in a very serious manner, we would be capturing a little more information. We'd be looking a little more intently in this log file for more information. This lab should get you a really good start at how to parse a log file. This is not a full video because this can take hours. It can even take days depending on what you're looking for. But this can take hours. And I'm going to try to fit this all in under 20 minutes. I'm hoping under 15, but under 20 minutes. So let's keep going. So over there, that clam AV, look through. Oh, that's looking a little more interesting. We're starting to get some more information about what domains are visited. Right now, I'm not going to worry about the clients that are coming back and is trying to figure out their in-ADRA ARPA addresses. I'm going to drop anything that's in ADRA ARPA so that we can move on. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here. Clam AV, I'm going to do a backslash pipe, and we're going to do that ADRA right there. ADRA. That in ADRA ARPA, that in-ADR ARPA, like that. That's going to be a reverse resolution, pointer records for DNS. So we're going to remove anything like that. Now, when you put it in like this backslash pipe, the reason I'm using a backslash there is if you're not using egrep or if you're not using grep-e, then it does not recognize the delineation of two fields, the and right there, I'm sorry, the or on this right here, unless you put a backslash escape before your pipe. It works in either case, so if you are doing that, it will work both ways. It looks like I do have E going. So there you go. I do. I have apparently alias. Let me alias grep, see what I've got. Okay, I do have E going. So because I've got a -E on my grep, then I can just go ahead and put a single pipe. I do not need to backslash escape it. Hope that you're catching that. This is not really a Linux terminal command overview, but hopefully you know what I mean. All right, so let's go on and we'll sort this out. These are addresses from most to least. Things that I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of anything that's a slash, so I get rid of all the slashes there. Now, in the real world, you may actually want to see what's going on in slashes, but this is DNS record. These are DNS records, and the slashes are not going to be all that revealing to you unless you're looking for the difference between internet, A addresses, quad A addresses, text records, or things like that. Anything that's involved in DNS. Right now, I just want to see what names are being resolved from our DNS server. So let's grab this, sort-n, and I'm now going to go through that sort-n, remove that. We've got this. Anywhere I have a slash now, I'm going to set that as a field delimiter. So I go awk-f $1, like that. So now I've got all of that information. Now I'm going to go through and sort unique-c and sort-n. There we go. So now I've rolled that out, and we can start looking at actual addresses, what's going on in the system, the websites that are being visited. Now, a lot of times it will not be the websites that are visited a lot. It'll be the ones that are visited very seldom that you need to pay attention to. But there you go. This right here would give us sites that are most commonly visited from this network or requested to be resolved from this DNS server. And it provides an error saying, hey, I don't do that. So these are sites that people are trying to resolve with this DNS, but it's saying, no, I can't do that. So interesting that we've got so many people on the internet trying to use our DNS server to resolve addresses. Kind of interesting. So there you go. If you want to look through that and check out those addresses, go for it. The next video is actually going to walk you through the UTM log. So we're going to look at Unified Threat Management and firewall logs. I believe that is a comma separated file, so it's going to be a little bit different in the way we parse our information. Look forward to talking to you then.